Here we are in Melrichstad in Germany, and this place represents something I've wanted to see for many years. We're at the Weihrauch factory. There's a gentleman there in the shirt is Hans Weihrauch Jr. Guy with his back to us is David Bontoff of Hull Cartridge, the UK importer. There's Phil from Airgun World, and over there in the yellow shirt is Stefan Weihrauch. He's speaking to Malcolm and Madge Potter, who do the Weihrauch demonstrations at the shows, and there's Kevin from Hull Cartridge, and there's Hans' son having a chat. Now we're going to go in and see what Weihrauch's all about, as much as they'll let us film anyway. Can't blame them for protecting all these secrets they got here. And this is the brand new building that's just been put up. So let's see what Weihrauch is really all about. After walking along this plexiglass gangway with the auto sensor lights and the superb facilities for the workers, we arrive in one of the newest bits of the Weihrauch Foundation here. This is the storage area. This is where all the bar stock is received. There's all the craning above there, and the first ranks of CNC machinery. Weihrauch is a mix of tradition and ultra high tech, and this is certainly one of the high tech sections. Some of the facilities in the office there are absolutely fantastic and all brand new. And gradually things are moving on, moving into the future, just like they should. Stage one of the journey. Here we go. Here's the combination of technician and technology. He takes this barrel blank out of the CNC machine. It's all been cut and milled according to the computer's little brain, and now he checks it. All checked through a series of gauges. That's on a V block. Everyone done. That one's passed. Carry on. That's the important point. Technology and craftsmanship. Here's more of a traditional process. We're stamping out the cotton arms for the HW35 and 50. As I said, some of it's high tech, some of it isn't. Whatever works and works best, they keep. What can be improved, they'll upgrade it. Here's a strangely interesting little process. Look, there's a belt steel running all the way up there, into there, under this packing machine, and what comes out is the bear trap base for the 77 and the 97. Goes all the way around and then down there. There you are. If you've ever wondered how things get polished and brought up to a free-bluing standard, a lot of companies use one of these. It's a rumbler. You get all this ceramic stone in there, look, and you'll see various parts. This is those cocking links we saw earlier on. They get tumbled around in there, and they come out all nice and shiny, with all the burrs removed, ready for the final polish. Something strangely soothing about watching this. Sure, it's got nothing to do with the vibration. Right. This is another type of rumbler, but this is for drying the parts. This is a much finer sand. There's no parts in it at the moment, but it's heated up to 40 or 50 degrees, and these get rid of all traces of moisture. And then when they're dry, the parts drop out on there. Right, so those parts in the earlier rumbler will be dropped in here as soon as they're finished. Here's a vital process. This is hardening the components. As you can see, they're being superheated, and these are piston rods. They need to be hardened so that they don't sort of bend, being used thousands upon thousands of times. So they'll be suspended in that superheated cauldron there for as long as it takes. Weihrauch make practically everything, apart from a few castings. They do it from scratch. And Hans Weihrauch was just telling me that the real advantage of that is that they have control of the process from start to finish. And from the bar stock to the machining, to the shaping, to the finishing, and now right the way up to the hardening. It's what makes a Weihrauch, or at least part of it. Here's a noisy bit. I don't know if you can hear me, but what they're doing is hand grinding trigger guards and stuff. Shows the amount of sort of hand finishing that goes on here. Every single component, look, that's the trigger lock. Checked, polished and ground by eye. Well, not actually ground by eye, obviously ground by that belt. You know what I mean? Well, everyone but me's got ear defenders on, so I'll move out of this one, I think. Here's a nice bit of attention to detail. This is the 77 Foresight unit being hand linished. It's all headphoned up, look. Light on the job. Each one done by hand, goes in matte, comes out shiny. Perfect Weihrauch combination of machinery and old-fashioned skill. Another process that's quite fascinating to watch. Right, here's where the tube come from the one milling area. They go up on there, then they go through this machine here, and they come out at the other end, where they are checked under a magnifying glass, hand cleaned, and they end up down there. And believe me, these things are shiny and they look as though they've just been minted, which of course they have. Any ones that don't make the grade, I'll put on this end section here and they will go back and be rejected. The whole process from start to finish, totally controlled by computers, machines and then men. And now we're in the bluing plant, where down comes all the job. These have been through bluing process, cleaning process, another bluing. It depends on whether they're being steel blued or whatever other treatments they have. There's a series of baths through there, and here's the finished item being shunted away, and very posh they look too. We won't be seeing all the processes because these have been developed over years and they can't just give them away on film. But basically it's a series of baths, series of chemical treatments, and they turn silver metal into the bright, shiny, hard-wearing Weihrauch blue that we know so well. There we go, there's the stuff we've just seen coming out of the bluing process. It's the 97 sort of muzzle end assembly there with the lever catch housing, and it all looks exactly as you see it once it gets to the shop. But as you've already seen, there's quite a bit of process between that moment and this. Here's a little aside. This is a statue made by a friend of the company, which is, as you can see, it's a vase of flowers made from cycle bits, chain wheels as we used to call them, and this harks back to Weihrauch's bicycle making heritage many years ago. Just a little something. Yet another example of the technical and the manual. This has been produced on this CNC machine there. The young gentleman will take out these breech blocks, barrel blocks for the springers, and he's checking each one on the quality control program. All done manually, everyone checked. This entire unit actually is a living example of what Weihrauch's about. There are guys over there with files, skilled eyes and hands, and swing around here. There's all the latest machinery, brand new one there, and ranks of it there. Yeah, there are still guys operating lathes and milling machines as each process goes through. Chap's just finishing up. They seem to have passed, and they'll go on to the next stage. As I watch this guy working through his program, remember these are 4 barrel blocks, okay? That little array of tools there and gauges, he's checked all 4 of those with everything there. Each hole, each drilling, each seating, everything has to pass. And they're all checked, every single one that's produced. This isn't a batch checking thing. Everything that's made is checked by hand. You see, there he goes, he's picked the next one up. That's got to go in, that's the threaded, make sure the thread's been cut properly. And he'll work his way down through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different checking tools. I could stand around and watch people work all day, and it's something quite fascinating about this. The fact that they do it by hand for all of them, that's quite amazing. Here's another one of those fascinating processes. What this is putting drilling a hole for the piston head, and there you go, pushing in the securing pin. They've investigated this as far as CNC and stuff goes, and apparently this is the best way to do it. So this chap drills the hole, takes the piston out, puts a new one in, and while that drill is going through, he puts that in a press, puts the pin in its place, pushes the pin in, and puts it in the box. Hands-on precision. One of the most vital processes in producing any rifle is barrel making. Here, in the traditional way, the rifling is being cut. The barrel will have come in as tube stock, then it's reamed, produce a high polished interior, and then the rifling comes. You get a craftsman just still judging it by eye, the old fashioned way. Before he returns to the machine, checks that the process is going as it should. There we are. Everything's slow, measured and easy. Very, very precise. Nobody knows better than Weihrauch how important these things are. All the processes that have gone before, all the components will mean nothing at all if that component isn't spot on. There's the final inspection of the barrels. You'll see there's a light box on the wall. The craftsman will hold up the barrel and check the rifling. Every single thing here is checked individually. I've seen no evidence of batch checking so far. Everything seems to be done to every single component. These are highly skilled technicians. He's now just pointing something out to Malcolm, what he's checking for under a microscope or a magnifying glass. He's just having a look to make sure it's dead right. Getting a bit closer. Must be absolutely perfect. That's the cutting tool for the rifling, I believe. So the tools themselves are checked, as well as the components. There we are, checking on the light box. Make sure the rifle is absolutely spot on and the barrel is perfectly straight. I'm still quite refreshed that this is, I'm pleased it's done by eye, because if there was a better way to do it, using high tech, then Weihrauch would use it. But as through most of their processes, if not all of them, whatever works best, whether it's traditional or modern, they'll use it. And in this case, it's a craftsman and his eye against a light box. Alright. What we're doing now is straightening a barrel. The technician is looking through the barrel at the light to see where the curve needs to be straightened. He's placing it in this sort of fiendish machine, and it applies a little bit of pressure just to correct it. Again, he's looking through the barrel to make sure it's dead right. A bit more downward pressure. It's held firm on that post in the middle, and now he's satisfied that barrel's fine. We'll pass it over to Phil for obviously the really expert view here. Phil's going to pretend to know what he's looking at. Yes, well done, well done. That's marvellous. This gentleman here is the real expert. He knows what he's doing. We've reached the assembly stage, and the first thing you notice is the lack of machine noise. This is all down to craftsmen. There's nothing sort of grinding away or doing anything mechanical here. Actually, there's a bit of an air of calm about the place, and I'm going to be interested to see exactly how much hands-on they're doing in the assembly. By the sound of things, it's pretty much everything. Just like with the check-in and the CNC bays though, look, everything is laid out, and this wasn't done for us, this is how it is. Everything's to hand, everything's there to test, to build, and that's how it's expected to be. Scarily efficient, chaps. Right, here we have a simple process, but a vital one. Polishing out the bluing from inside the air cylinder of a brake barrel. You don't want the inside to be blued, you want it to be nice and shiny and clean so the piston can go up and down. So this machine scrubs it out. He will now dip it into the cleaning solution, rinse it through, let it drain, and that will go into that rack there after a final rinse and be ready to go. There you go. This gentleman here is assembling a 97. He's just got all his pins and stuff in. He's setting up the trigger, look. There we go. All done by hand. Here we see the mainspring and piston being inserted and the end bolt screwed on. That's done by it's like an air machine that rotates, screws the back luck onto the right pressure. Fairly simple process. That's all ready for the barrel fitment now. This is the fitting of the breech pin, adjustable on a Weihrauch, of course. So that gets torqued down to the right temperature, the right pressure. Tested in there. Final adjustment by hand. Here, the right tension. Last tweak. All done. This gentleman here is assembling the 100. He's just putting stock onto action. Even this has a precise and correct way to go about it. And every single thing, as I keep saying, is checked. Now goes the cylinder through the bracing band, screw it into the action. Before we get the approval to produce a little bit of lubricant or something on the threads there, and the end cap being fitted. Now we're fitting the butt pad, an adjustable one in this case, and one of the best in the business, and it's a component that all precision air guns should have. There you are, just watch the stock be drilled, fit that on, that stock's finished, ready to go. After all the manufacture, all the checking, all the assembly and everything else, here we have racks of Weihrauchs ready for final testing. This gentleman here is in charge of that. He's setting them up on the target range there, and that all the shots will be recorded. Velocity, consistency, accuracy, and as a standard, it's unshiftable. Anything that doesn't come up to it will be rejected. Not a bad job, is it? Yeah, that'd do you for a job. I'm at the Weihrauch testing range now. This is a 25-metre tube, obviously airless and no wind at all. We've got a HW100 action going in, and there's a target right at the end of that, and there's a computer readout up there that gives consistency, velocity, everything that's required. And this technician here will keep firing this until he gets the data he wants. Everything here is tested from start to finish. According to the grouping on that seems to be pretty successful. Oh yes, I used to be that good in my day, you know. The entire magazine. There we go. One after the other. You'll notice they're being fired fairly quickly too, so that the components are getting a real workout there. Yeah. I bet you've never seen one of these before, because I certainly haven't. This is a cutaway of an HW80. Look, there's a superb Weihrauch trigger unit, the record. There's the power plant with the mainspring, piston body. You can see the seal there, piston seal. You can see even cut through on the sights, on the breech. We go all the way along the barrel to the end assembly there where the choke is, and that's all cut through as well. How about that? I'd like one of those. I'd like to put it on my mantelpiece and annoy my wife. Fantastic. The HW80, a spring piston airgun icon. Well, that concludes our trip to Weihrauch. I hope you found it as fascinating as I have. Couldn't show you absolutely everything because, quite understandably, this company won't give away the secrets it's taken it so many decades to develop. And it didn't get to be one of the greatest names in the airgun world by handing over its technology. But I think this is the most extensive look behind the scenes there's ever been. And I'm grateful for that. I think the main thing I've learned is that our airgun traditions and heritage don't only come from England. There are a few German companies out there that have a fair claim to that, and Weihrauch is certainly one of them. This is a major airgun player, and I can see why. I hope you can too.